good photograph? The number one rule of photography is and always will be impact. When you look at it, you go, oh, that's nice. Okay, now if you have to think about it, if you got to get poetic, if you have to dance an interpretive dance or play some music to make the image speak to you, or if it's sublime in any way, to me and to a lot of photographers, it's not a good image. You got to look at it and go, whammo, that's nice. Story is very important in photography as well, in good pictures. It's got to tell a story, okay? Which can mean something of sentimental value. So if you got a nice picture that means a lot to you, it may mean absolutely nothing to somebody else. The impact may be, it might even be a crappy photograph, technically speaking, but it's got to you sentimental value, right? So there's that component too. So I'm going to talk, first of all, about the subject placement. This is composition. I'm going to get into something a little lighter in a minute. It's important to understand this. Okay, when you're talking about what's inherently valuable in a photograph, first thing you have to look at is the subject. What is the subject? And think about quadrants. And I'm going to show you quadrants in a minute. Leading lines, foreground, middle ground, background, triangles, S-curves, diagonals, all encompass composition. Okay, so if you improve your composition right out the gate, you're improving your photographs, and this is the number one area we can all improve in. I see the same mistakes over and over and over again. You know, I call them rookie mistakes, okay? But if you just got a camera last year, you're considered a rookie. I mean, you're just learning, right? So it's okay. We all got to go through that phase. But if you give it a little more thought, planning, a little more perspective, a little more, you just train your skills a little more. You give it a little more thought. You just compose a little bit differently. Your pictures will go up dramatically. So composition, I'm really going to pound that message home like that. And I'm going to give you something to think about, because when you think about composition, you'll start to notice it in movies. You go watch a movie and go, I see that all the time, in lighting, especially in movies. I'm always analyzing. Actually, I shouldn't say I'm analyzing. I just notice it automatically. It's just natural for me. It's like a musician who hears composition and go, oh, that's neat the way they did that scale with the bass or whatever. When I'm watching a movie, I'm always, in a sense, learning. I observe without thinking. If I had to think about it, would make the experience not too enjoyable. Okay, so let's talk real quick about composition. This is super technical here. Basically, it's quadrants. Remember I mentioned that word? There's quarters, or what you got to do is you got to draw 2 lines this way horizontally, 2 lines vertically, and where they intersect, those are your quadrants. Now, if you break it up into fifths, eighths, thirds, one guy thinks that 0.618 is the ideal. I don't get that technical. Okay, this is what I like. Okay, so think about your photograph. And if you consider the placement in one of those quadrants, you will instantly improve your pictures, unless for some reason or other it's dead center, which works some of the time for some images, depending what you're photographing. But most of the time, if you look through history of art, if you look through Rembrandt's collection and Picasso and all the famous artists of the day, you'll see composition. You'll see composition, light, and form. And it's really, really easy to improve that area instantly, just by giving a little more thought. Okay? I wanted to bring this image up because it's really just a shot of the beach. I want to talk about the lighting really, really quick. So does anybody know where the light's coming from here? Anybody? Top left. Yeah, top left, right? It's coming this way. This is another area that you can instantly improve your pictures, and it's a little tricky because it sometimes will mess up your exposure. If you try and get the light, if you can imagine, I'm 6 o'clock and the light is 12, so 3 and 9 o'clock, anywhere behind that. So 90 degrees and beyond will immediately add a lot of impact to your photographs. Okay, the light in this case is coming from behind me, or to the top left, like this gentleman said. How do I know that? Well, I can look at the highlights. See the highlights? Okay. Highlights are a false tone. That's pure white. The sand's not white. It's a beige color. Therefore, it's a false tone. But it's a very important tone, right? Cool? Not cool? Shadow. the sand's not that like dark brown, almost like black almost. So that's a false tone too. Okay, so the true tone's somewhere in the middle here, that's the true tone. But a blend of the three, and there are only three tones, create the image. If you place the direction of the light from behind you, or like I mentioned, 3 or 9 o'clock in behind coming at you, you will instantly create a high impact lighting scenario. Combine that with composition, and you have a dynamite combination. Okay? It's a lot to think about.